Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Dimasaitia, and in this video, I will be presenting my summary on the Chapter 2 of Introduction to Psycholinguistics. We are going to talk about speech production and comprehension. Now, on Chapter 2, it explains how people produce and understand spoken language. It describes the different mental and physical steps involved in speaking and listening. The chapter is organized around three main areas, that it is speech production, articulation, and speech perception. Now we're going first on the speech production. Now there is several levels. Now we're going when we talk on the speech production, the first we have to talk about is the stage of production. Now, short production, as shown in here, it starts first with conceptualization, which is the process of deciding what to say. And then next we have the next step, which is the formulation, where the speaker chooses the right words and grammar to express the idea. And then the final step is articulation, where the brain sends signals to the muscle that control the mouth and vocal cords to produce sounds. Now, researchers study speech production by looking at speech error, which are unintentional mistakes, as we can give us the speech errors, tip of tongue states. Now such there is an example of this. This is take my bag instead of bake my bike. This is bake my bike instead of take my bag. Now this is a common mistake. Now this L show how the brain organizes language. Another interesting event is the tip of tongue phenomenon, where the tip of tongue phenomenon, where a person know what they want to say but cannot remember the exact word. Now, experiments like picture naming, and picture word interference text help scientists learn how the brain selects and retrieves words. This studies both models like the spreading activation model, as we can see here, which suggests that when we think of one word or idea, related words are also activated in the brain. And then we have the lemma theory, adds that there are two stages in word production, one for choosing the meaning, which is the lemma, and another for selecting the sound form. People also have the ability to monitor and correct their own speeches. This means that they can detect when they make a mistake and often fix it before or just after saying it. We move to the next. Now we speak on the articulation speed of production, but we only this form is the mental steps, which is usually in the conceptualization and formulation. Now the articulation, it is kind of a little bit complex more. Now articulation, which is the physical process of producing speech sounds. This requires precise movement of the lips and tongues and other speech organs. As we can see here, the motor plan execution, that is the planning that what we want to use. And then we have the speech sound, which what is the sound that is produced when we are moving our speech organ. Now, a rare condition called foreign accent syndrome is described to show how brain damage can change a person's speech, making it sound like a foreign accent. This condition helps researchers understand how the brain controls speech production. Now, another focus within this chapter, it is this speech perception, which is how people understand spoken language. One challenge is the co-articulation, where speech sounds blend together, making it hard to separate individual words. Several theories try to explain how people understand speech. Now, the motor auditory theory of speech perception suggests that the motor theory, the perception theories that which is motor theory of speech perception suggests that we recognize speech by simulating the mouth movements needed to produce it. This theory is followed by Magog Apeg, where what we see, the lip movements, where we see, what we see can change what we think we hear. The discovery is also led to the discovery of mirror neurons, which respond both to when we act and when we observe others, gave new support to this idea. However, some scientists argue that this theory does not explain all aspects of speech perception, especially in people who can understand speech but cannot speak. Another explanation is the general auditory approach, which says that people use the same hearing abilities for speech as they do for other sound. This theory focuses on how the brain produces sound patterns, not on how it produces them. In summary, these captures show that the speaking and understanding language are a complex process involving both the mind and body. By studying speech mistakes, while disorder and control experiments, like this one, the one again, scientists can better understand how language works in the brain. Okay, now that is all for me. Thank you very much. I hope I found this information helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the attention. Semua assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay.